Hello and welcome to SCOMathon 2025. My name is Christian Heidkamp. I'm pleased to speak on behalf of NiCE today and present you a selection of our management packs. The development and maintenance of management pack is really our passion. We develop over 12 management pack right now with our team. At NiCE, we really breathe and work every day, management packs, management packs, management packs, and with that, numbers of challenges that come with it. We have over 100 customers worldwide that use the management packs from NiCE. And with that, obviously, we have insight into many different SCOM environments, being it in Asia, North America, Africa, or South America, or in Europe. We see a lot of challenges around, and we're happy to take them and have a big team around that helps with these challenges. That's also why I came up with this name, Management Pack Wonderland. And within the next 15 minutes, I give you a short glimpse into the portfolio, and there's a free tool. So at NiCE, we have this set of management packs we provide. In the first row, you see Microsoft 365 management packs for the various services. So for example, OneDrive, SharePoint, Exchange, Teams, and Entra Connect. There's also the Entra management pack included. I will talk in a moment in more detail. Then we have now the NetApp management pack, which we've added for a couple of 2 years now, basically, and has got a couple of new releases. We have the VMware vSphere management pack, Oracle management pack, and DB2 management pack. Further, the MongoDB and a couple of management pack around the IBM Power Systems I will talk in a moment as well about. There's the Citrix management pack and Postgres together with our partner TechWave, Veritas, and some legacy management packs as well. However, if you're interested in log file monitoring, either on Windows or on Linux, then please have a look on our portal, www.nice.de, where you find the downloadable files for the NiCE log file management pack. And if you have a very specific challenge, we're always happy to hear from you. We are developing right now 2 other management packs, which are in the pipeline, and some custom management packs for a range of specific customer needs. So if you have questions, feel free to contact us. Let's get a deep dive into the first management pack, the NiCE management pack for Microsoft 365. Or the question, why are we at NiCE successful in selling, even though Microsoft provides one for free? So let's have a look. I will change to a demo environment. So let's start at the Entra ID environment. So I will go to the Entra ID. And I will show you some of the challenges from a monitoring perspective that are not addressed by the Microsoft 365 management pack. So let's go on the left side and look at the enterprise applications. Even on your tenant that you have or your company has in management, you will find a lot of enterprise applications. If you look at all of them, not just your own, you will find typically over 1,000 different enterprise applications that are registered in your tenant. And the question is like, how do you make sure, are they all compliant? Are they all secure? And are the properties and owners correctly configured? So this way, you want to make sure that there are no problems with your specific enterprise applications. For that, we have implemented a discovery in the Active 365 management pack from NiCE that will discover all service principals. And you will see there are like a bit over 1,700 in here as well. And now we have attached monitors, unit monitors basically to them. So if you look at one of them in the Health Explorer, we actually see, well, there's an application where the client secret is expired or is about to expire. So in this case, we see it has expired since 150 days, or even if it's soon going to be expired. So basically the first alert will alert you that this application registration has a problem or will soon have a problem. This way you get an alert of the expiry before actually the problem occurs, that the application, for example, is not working for your customers anymore. There are other monitors, and we'll pick another one, for example, that focus more on compliance or on security. For example, if they're guest owners or if the owner configuration is incomplete, or as well if the application role compliance assignment of a specific enterprise application is in a way where it should not be, basically against the compliance of your environment. Besides that, the Active 365 management pack supports the monitoring of Entra Connect. So basically syncing between your AD and Entra. It has the monitoring of Exchange Online, on-premise, and a hybrid deployment. It has specific monitoring for token acquisition and to ensure that the users on your tenant can log on. Further, it has the full monitoring of SharePoint Online, Teams, OneDrive, and the other services that are part of Microsoft 365. That really gives a complete suite of monitoring for Microsoft 365 with this management pack. But again, the question, why are we so successful selling this management pack, even though Microsoft has one for free? There's one other important item to that. We have a support team which is dedicated for management pack support around the world in the United States and in Europe. So when you have a challenge or a question with your registration, with your questions on M365, on specific alerts, you can reach out to us, open a ticket, and you get a quick answer on that, basically. Try that with Microsoft, and for some of the management packs, you will have a hard time to get it resolved. We release this management pack about 2 to 3 years a year with a certain hotfixes and patches. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. That was just a short demo, and let's go on to the next management pack. All right, let's have a look at the NiCE management pack for NetApp. NetApp is a storage application that runs in quite a lot of data centers to store a large amount of data and has a very high performance, especially designed for enterprise applications. All right, let's have a look. I also start with the actually NetApp environment. So NetApp has the operating system ONTAP, and the ONTAP has a system manager. In this case, we are running the system manager or the ONTAP environment on a hardware. This is a FAS 2620 environment, and it's an enclosure in our data center. It has 2 nodes basically in there and a disk shelf. These nodes are also called controllers. So one controller is up and running, and one of the controller actually has a problem. So this is basically for test cases we're doing to see if the failover would work here. Next, we have a disk shelf, and this disk shelf has a number of disks in there. Then we expose, or we can create volumes for storing data, expose LUNs, and so on. We have fiber channel adapters and a lot of other things in here. However, as complicated as it might get here, again, we have a management pack for that should simplify it and integrate it into your monitoring environment with System Center Operations Manager. So we switch over here, and on the left side, we see now NetApp ONTAP, basically, and the NetApp ONTAP, again, has like all management packet discovery, or in this case, a number of discoveries. So we have the nodes again. These are the 2 nodes. One has a problem because it's off, and the other one has to take over. So we have a couple of alerts on that. So we have the volumes, which are typically key for monitoring. So we have a number of volumes, and some of volumes have an alert. So typically volumes are full, reaching the quota, or can't grow anymore. So here there's no space available on that volume, for example. So obviously that triggers alerts, and it has the information as you typically would expect from smaller product knowledge, especially the endpoint that is used to give some information on where the data comes from. There are a lot of monitors again, like dozens of monitors and rules that bring data into this. There are a couple of errors on here, which is intentionally, but basically it gives you a quick overview of your ONTAP environment. So it supports also the hardware monitoring. That means, for example, the shelves have a state, or also the chassis, the enclosure where everything is in there. That includes, for example, temperature monitoring, fan monitoring, power supply monitoring. All of those things are also included in this management pack. Last but not least, obviously, there's a large amount of performance counters that come within. So if you want to understand the IOPS on your cluster, I can open here and get the IOPS in your cluster displayed. And besides that, we have obviously a couple of other performance counters. We have created here a software development kit, which is under the hood of this due to the complexity of the API, which is at the back end. So basically to simplify and to ensure that we don't overload the environment. Further, we have a couple of large customers that have a lot of on tab aggregates in there. For those, we have also the feature of creating so-called summary monitors to get an alert, but without the detailed discovery of all the objects in the system. That comprises the section of the NetApp on tab management pack, and closing with that, we'll just switch to the next management pack. Great. Let's have a look at the NiCE management pack for VMware. So better to say for VMware vSphere. So we monitor basically the workloads of your vSphere environment from various perspectives, and I would like to give you a very quick overview. I understand that today you have a selection of management packs for VMware vSphere that are in the market, and feel free to evaluate all of them against each other. We have re-engineered this product entirely from the ground up, especially for performance and scalability reasons. And obviously, there are a lot of new features we also want to cover with that. So also in this case, as for the other products, we actually start from the vCenter, for just to show it here as well. So in the vCenter, we have the option to browse through all the for the entire environment, for all ESXi hosts and virtual machines. This is one of our larger lab environments with a couple of hundred virtual machines across various regions. Here, obviously, you can do all the actions, but that's typically not the front end you can use very good for monitoring. So the management pack from NiCE for VMware comes in very handy. In this environment, we see the VMware vCRMP that adds like a folder view, a couple of state views, dashboard views, performance views, alert views, and so on. We also discover, like, first, obviously, the data center. So data center, in this case, we have just one larger data center where we have everything in, and then we have the whole health roll up to the data center. We have clusters, we have data stores. In the data store view, we can actually see if one of the data stores runs out of space, has an I/O problem, and so on. The ESXi hosts are under here, including the performance management, monitoring, and also the virtual machines are also discovered. Besides all the virtual machines, we have a separate state view for all the snapshots, and you can get an alert if there's a snapshot out of date and needs to be removed. Also, if a snapshot runs out of a specific space or reaches a space threshold, it can be alerted. We have monitoring for the vCenters and also the networks included. There's a lot of information. There are over about over 80 different classes in this management pack, including also all the cluster functionality like vMotion, vSphere HA, and it does a synchronization between the events between vCenter and SCOM. It has the option to scale across a number of management servers in one resource pool. Further, you can create different resource pools to scale even larger workloads with 5,000 or more VMs across many management servers for performance reasons. There's a free tool I like to share. So this is a tool basically which comes very handy in if you need to understand what management packs you need to update in your environment. Well, in most cases, you typically can go in your admin console to the tune management pack view, and it will request a catalog and the updates. However, in many environments, we don't have that internet connection available. And also, we can't do a comparison. We also, when we do the update, don't know exactly what will happen. So in the end, if you would like to stay in control of the update process of your management packs, maybe even do some revisioning or use a stage approach, like first put your management pack into a test or sandbox environment and to a staging environment to final to a production environment. So this tool is very helpful for that. So I will give you a very short demo on that. There is the QR code you can scan, and you'll get to GitHub where you can download. Once you download it, the toolkit and have the build version here, so you can place it to any system that had access to the internet to download. This can be your workstation, but now to use that, you actually need somehow to get the list of management packs into that. So we go basically now down here to the operations management server or console that has access to that, and basically export the current list of all the management packs into a CSV file. So the CSV file shows up here. This CSV file now is transferred to the system where you have internet access, which would be the system up here where we have that one. There's a usage for this, which you can use basically with a couple of items, and I prepared the command to basically run here. Let's see where it is. There we go. So we basically do, as an input parameter, take the exported CSV list, define the version, which is important. So this is SCOM 2019, for example. You can use 25 as well, and then define a CSV output where we actually want to see what needs to be updated. So you run this command. It creates this one, and now here on the right side we see the output. So if you look at the output with the viewer, for example, here we see all the management pack that basically require an update according to the Microsoft catalog. So it basically takes the version, compares it against the web endpoint from Microsoft where the actual versions are published, and checks what needs to be updated. Next step, obviously, is download those management packs. Also, we have included a feature for that that will help you to download this. So you can basically go and download, define the path where you want to download it. And directory, there you go. And now it will start the download of all these management packs and place them in here. Boom, they're coming in. So these are the management packs. Now you have them in a format here. You can archive them and also check them into a versioning system. And once you're fine, import them. So this is very handy, especially if you want to use this in different environments. Great. So let's go quickly back to the slides. Again, here is the overview. There is also documentation that comes with it, which gives you an overview. It's a little guide that you can use and gives you instruction with that. With that, I hope that this free tool is really useful for you. Feel free to give us feedback on the chat or contact me on LinkedIn or another channel, and I'm happy to take your feedback. So let's go on to the next management pack. All right, now we get to the last management pack, and the last management pack is not actually one management pack, it's a couple of management packs and also additional software that we provide for the IBM environment. Most of us are familiar with x86 architecture. So all the Windows, Linux, and other systems we typically run, operating systems, are based on x86, like Lenovo or Dell or the hardware that is provided. But there's another world, which is the IBM Power Systems, PowerPC, x86, S390X, different architectures that also can be monitored and often need to be monitored. Especially large enterprise environment from healthcare or finance, defense industry, or government use these platforms. They're very robust and reliable, run for many years, and they can either run on an on-prem environment or in hybrid cloud deployment. At NiCE, we have developed these management packs over years, and I just will show like a quick demo of those now. So in this environment, we discovered a set of different AIX and Linux systems. So basically, AIX falls under Unix, so to say. We've basically doing this for many years because we've started at NiCE developing for those platforms like Linux and AIX, and have a long history on doing this. So, and the other motivation of doing this was basically that Microsoft stopped the support. So Microsoft stopped the support with SCOM 2019 for AIX, and later with 2022 for Linux on Power. So Red Hat, later versions like 9 and 8 are not supported on the PBC 64LE architecture, which you can see here, which basically is on IBM Power. What you should know is that IBM Power is a highly virtualized system. So it's similar to vSphere or Xen or Hyper-V, where all the Linux and IX virtual servers, they're also called logical partitions, LPARs, are running on a hypervisor. And this hypervisor is also known as the Power VM or Virtual I/O server, where we also have a separate monitor management pack for that. So this management pack basically has all these logical partitions with all the different systems on this, like Linux system, AIX systems, or IBM MI running on that. The host would be like, for example, the IBM Power System. So yeah, we have a number of IBM Power Systems. They're running in our data center. I connected to the HMC, which is the hardware management console. And then we have the Virtual I/O server, which is responsible for doing workload coordination and memory mapping. There are things like vMotion in vSphere, like which is called LPM, live partition mobility. So you can move logical partitions, virtual machines, while they're running without interruption from one IBM Power System to another. All of that requires monitoring, especially from a sizing perspective. If one of the logical partitions, for example, takes a lot of load, then it might be good to move this to another system, for example. But quickly back to the actual agent that is deployed then on the logical partition, for example, an AIX system. If we look, for example, what is monitored, this is very similar to what you probably know from monitoring Linux on x86. So we have the hardware roll up here with the different disks or mount points in there. Then we have the operating system health, with a number of services, and performance of the operating system, which comprises like megabyte usage or interrupt time or total processor time. And that can be, then you can add your own monitors, like script-based monitors. That should be enough for today with all the management packs. And we have more management packs in the pipeline. We've releasing this year a management pack for MariaDB, and there will be a couple of others and extensions also on the horizon that will come out. So with that, thank you very much. And if you have questions, feel free to ask them now in the chat or come over to the speaker room. Talk to you soon. Thank you. Have a good day.